but don't say that nobody is running against the sheriff. You know, I know you don't totally like me, but COPWATCH is going to run as a write-in.
Oh,
and
all right.
What's going on YouTube? It's the People's Patriot, Gary Snow, out here on a rainy afternoon in sunny Florida. Wanted to give you an update on my investigation as a freelance journalist into Charlotte County COPWATCH Andrew Sheets. I've had a lot of people actually contact me. They've reached out to me and wanted to get involved. They have a lot of information about Andrew, and it's kind of surprising to see so many people contacting me. But basically what I found out, I mean, I'm just gonna give you just the short version, is this all started when Andrew moved in to Punta Gorda, into his house. He had a problem with his neighbor who was already living there. He's been living there for a while. He had a problem with his barking dogs. Andrew started to file complaints, call the police. He didn't like the barking dogs. His neighbor wasn't going to get rid of his dogs. Those were his hunting dogs. His neighbor said to me that Andrew was coming across over onto not their property. The lot in between Andrew and the neighbor was owned by somebody else, but the neighbor did eventually buy that lot. But Andrew was coming across and video recording the dogs barking, which aggravated the dogs, which made them bark even more. Andrew was starting to call code enforcement on his neighbor for a shed that he had. Now, this is something that a vindictive neighbor would do when they aren't getting their way. So Andrew called code enforcement. Code enforcement came out. The neighbor did get in trouble, had to bring his shed up to code. So in retaliation, the neighbor called code enforcement on Andrew because he had some new windows put in. So now you can see that a feud between the two neighbors is starting to brew. So Andrew had to pay a couple $1,000, redo his windows, and from there on out, Andrew was just dead set on his neighbor was stalking him. His neighbor wanted nothing to do with him. Andrew put up cameras all over his house. Andrew just started to make thousands upon thousands of videos of his neighbor driving by on a public road, and Andrew deemed this as stalking. I'm going to take a look at one of Andrew's many YouTube pages. This is called My Nightmare Neighbors. I believe he started this page to document the so-called stalking, and we're going to start looking at some of his videos, and we're going to go to the oldest ones. I believe he does have over 8,000 videos on this page of what he says is evidence of his neighbor stalking him. We'll go through. This goes back 7 years. Some of these clips are 5-second clips, 15-second clips. This says stalking while at home, outside, and trespassing. Let's take a look and see. Looks like his neighbor is mowing his yard. Andy, that constitutes stalking. Let's take a look at another video here. Stalking while home, outside. 8-second clip. Let's see this one. The neighbor drives by. To Andy, that's stalking. So nobody is allowed to drive by Andy's house. That is considered stalking. World's worst neighbor drive-by harassment. 10-second clip. Let's take a look. Andy's at the yard doing some work, and his neighbor drives by. There's some serious stalking going on there. Let's get to the creepy part where Andy starts to film on the inside of his house. He put up, it looks like some blue tape to kind of hide his camera. These are, again, 5 to 15-second video clips. This is from 6 years ago. Let's take a look at something he just labeled stalking. Well, a car driving by. Wow. That is some serious stalking going on there. Let's take a look. Oh, 6 years ago, 6-second stalking. car drove by the house. Wow. That is some serious stalking going on there. Like I said, he's got thousands of videos here that he claims to have documented. I mean, this is just creepy. What is with the tape? What is this? Oh, it's just somebody driving by. I guess that's stalking if you drive by Andy's house. And you can kind of see the progression that he went from stalking to COPWATCH on this page after Andrew lost his stalking injunction case that he tried to file on his neighbor. I believe he thought that he didn't get a fair shot, and it was all because of the law enforcement in Charlotte County. He says they flipped on him, and now Andrew is dead set to go out there and expose the corrupt law enforcement in Charlotte County. We can just keep going on stalking. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Stalking while at home, outside and trespassing. Again, let's take a look at the stalking. Stalking if you mow your yard on your own property. Andrew Sheets might call you a stalker. So anyone who lives near Andy, please don't drive by his house. He constitutes that as stalking. He will film you and you will be on YouTube. Even though nobody is watching Andrew, none of his videos, he gets about 25 views per video. Nobody comments on his videos. Nobody follows Andrew. But yet, everybody in Charlotte County is stalking Andrew Sheets. Again, this just goes... I think right here, 6 years ago, corrupt police, this is when he started his cop watching. Want to get Facebook stalked? I guess if you look at Andrew's Facebook page, you're a stalker. You know, Andrew is one of the biggest hypocrites I've ever seen. For someone who says that everybody else is a stalker, he sure loves to go on your Facebook, loves to go on your YouTube channels, loves to spread lies. He says that everybody's spreading lies and defamation about him. We're just reporting the facts, Andy. And again, it seems like somebody's paranoia schizophrenic is in override by the looks of, I mean, just thousands upon thousands of videos. You can just see the progression of his anxiety and paranoia. While at home, let's take a look at this one. A little bit of buffering. And there goes the neighbor. Stops at the stop sign and keeps on driving. Wow. That is some scary stalking going on right there. I mean, it just goes on and on. And what's this? Code Nazis. This is after Andrew and his neighbor started to get in it over code violations. This is just insane. It just goes on and on. Stalking while home. Let's just take a look at what Andrew considers stalking. Oh, that's another camera on his house there. I'm going to guess his neighbor drives by, stops at the stop sign, and continues on his way. Oh, there he is. Stops at the stop sign and keeps going. So that's stalking. So nobody in Punta Gorda can drive by Andy's house. If you do, you might be a stalker, according to Charlotte County COPWATCH, Andrew Sheets. I mean, look at the videos over and over and over again. I mean, this is insane. Oh, here we go. Charlotte County Sheriff drive by. This is when he started to record the police. I think that might be one of the first COPWATCH police encounters 6 years ago. There's another Charlotte County drive by. Let's see what this looks like. Wow. The police drove by his house. The police must be stalking Andrew Sheets now. I mean, it just goes on. Stalking while at home outside. 170 drive-bys since going to court for stalking. Well, his neighbor does live behind him. These are public streets. I don't know if Andy wants his neighbor to take a different route, but we have rights and freedoms, and as an American, you can drive wherever you want. Except in front of Andrew Sheets' house, then you're a stalker. Here we got the nighttime vision going. I mean, Andy upgraded his video cameras 6 years ago. I mean, this is insane. The judge asked my stalker, "Why do you need to drive this way?" Well, let's take a look. Well, as you can see, on the left-hand side is Andrew.
The judge asked my stalker, "Why do you need to drive this way?" My stalker said, "Because it's easier for me to back my truck in this way."
So, what you can see in this picture is Andrew Sheets' house is on the left, and circled in red is his neighbor's house. So he's asking, well, why does the neighbor have to drive by my house? Well, the neighbor owns the 2 lots behind his house, where the 2 red lines are. So after speaking to the neighbor, he says that he drives around to get better access. He has a couple boats, a couple trailers, so he drives around, and this is how he accesses and drops off his boat and trailers and everything, which you're allowed to do in America because he owns that property, and these are public streets. So he goes around in front of Andrew's house and then backs in. Perfectly legal, but in Andy's state of dementia and paranoia, this would be stalking. Let's go on. Stalking, 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 stalking. 200 drive-bys since going to court. This is insane. This is a different level of insanity here. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Charlotte County Sheriff drive-by, on. I mean, I can just scroll through the thousands and thousands and thousands of videos. Stalking while at home. He's counting how many times his neighbor drives by his house. This is insane. It goes on. It goes on. This is something that somebody with paranoia schizophrenia would do. Andrew also had a problem with his neighbor shooting off fireworks on the 4th of July. Apparently, an American, a freedom-loving American, is not allowed to celebrate the independence of their country by shooting off fireworks. It seems like Andy might have been somewhat tyrannical to his community, to his neighbors. If you did something that Andrew didn't agree with, either you were going to have the police called on you, he was going to report you, or you're going to end up on a YouTube video upon one of the thousands and thousands of YouTube videos that Andy posts of you driving by his house, and you are going to be labeled as a stalker. It just seems to me that Andy doesn't like freedom. It seems to me that Andy doesn't want anyone else to exercise their rights and freedoms. So there's no stalking going on in Andy's world. If there's anyone else out there who might have had an encounter with Charlotte County COPWATCH, please leave a comment below and get a hold of me. I will contact you, and you can tell me your experience. Maybe you have something you would like me to know, since I am a certified investigative journalist. I laminated my picture on a piece of paper that says press, and I wear that on a lanyard now, so that makes me a certified journalist, and I am conducting an investigative journalist report on Charlotte County COPWATCH, Andrew Sheets, what started Charlotte County COPWATCH, and the paranoia schizophrenia that Andrew is displaying when he thinks that his entire community is stalking him.
Bill Permel is paying this fucker to harass me to do shit that he can't do because he's a law enforcement officer and he's not supposed to do it.